here on this channel, I am going to keep doing these. I'm just going to keep talking about Stoicheia, but I'm sick. I'm sick of talking about bad Stoicheia decks. Let's talk about a good Stoicheia deck. And the second coming of potentially Shojodoji. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm S4 here. Today I am back to cover another Stoicheia deck for another deck discussion. Today, the deck I picked is Mythiarq because once again, Stoicheia has so many weird in-archetype decks that like nobody talks about. And it has some of the most heinous shit on the planet. Like, look at this. Like, there's no way this is fair, right? But the funny part is that a lot of them are not only cheap and affordable for most of my audience, who I assume are budget players, but a lot of them are actually pretty good for the most part. That just haven't been discovered, and no one really talks about it. And while most of the big people out on the internet will tell you all about the good, best deck, Levy Drafts, or any deck that's good, I want to spend time on the little fella. I want to talk about the decks that you can still play and win that most people don't. I want to help you cheat diversity card in the worst way possible. And today we have Nami here to join us. Nami, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, what's up, guys?
So tell me why you're playing a Stoicheia deck.
Okay, so this just happened to be a cheap budget Stoicheia deck that I happened to pick up way back in DBTO8, if I'm not wrong.
11.
Or DBTO11. This deck just spoke to me because the main Vanguard said your opponent discards one.
Oh, right. So you're one of those Nubatama people, right?
That's right.
So I'm just gonna throw some links now in the description below just in case you need some references, or if you're interested in viewing other of my videos. It really helps if you watch any of my videos even. So I'm gonna put a link in the description below for my previous Shiranui video that me and Nami covered, including the one full right ban list. I'm gonna throw as well the other DZBTO6 Stoicheia deck profile, that is Glory Maelstrom. So if you're a fan of Li Wangzi, check that out. I'm also going to throw in, of course, my beloved Nightrose Sama. I understand that English is finally getting her soon. If you want to find out an alternate way to build her, just check that video. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to put that in the description below, and the encyclopedia will also follow that video. So again, quite a lot of good stuff for people who are generally interested in watching or listening to stuff. But yeah, let's talk about this deck and why I believe it's the next Shojodoji. I'm not going to link the Shojodoji video down here because I think everyone knows about Shojodoji already. So yeah. Okay, so let's start with the quick deck profile. So let's start.
Alright, so for the right line, we are running purely the Mythiarq right line. The grade 0 will be Mythiarq, Peguil, Meko. All of these Mythiarq names are pretty hard to pronounce, but
because they're based on zoo animals.
Sea creatures, yes. The grade 1 will be Mythiarq Ilondrina. Its effect is when rolled upon by the grade 2, you can call it out from the soul, and now you have AK attacker on turn 2.
Wonderful.
Its second ability is in the back row rearguard circle.
Too close.
As long as there's a rearguard in front of it, and you had placed a rearguard by card effect this turn, the rearguard in front of it will always gain plus 5k.
Wait, so it's just Spark Spike Dragon.
That's right.
You guys have a Spark Spike Dragon clone.
Yeah, for free. Because it's in the right line.
Come on, man.
Okay, the grade 2 will be Mythiarq Lurus Manta. Its effect is when rolled upon by Mythiarq. By a grade 3 card with Mythiarq in its card name, you can call it the rearguard circle. And then its other effect is on place. If you have 3 or more units with Mythiarq in their card name, you may soul charge 1. Then choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and it cannot intercept until the end of the turn. So,
you guys get Giga Paralyzed.
It just heals intercept, but we do have paralyze somewhere else.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so
last but not least, we have Mythiarq Luluzulu. Her effect is when placed on Vanguard circle, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less unit card from among them, call it the rearguard circle, and shuffle the deck. If you have 5 or more units, your opponent chooses a card from their hand and discards it.
Henry!
That's right. When this unit, and then her other effect is when this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 1, choose one of your rearguards with Mythiarq in their card name, return it to your hand, choose one of your units with Mythiarq in their different card name from the return card, then the return card, and call it. So basically, you choose one of your Mythiarq rearguards, bounce it to hand, call a card with a different name than the card you bounce.
Basically, it gives you additional attack, and on place, it gives you a +1 and a hand rip. So as long as you just keep Persona riding or find a way to loop the Persona ride, or just hell, even riding up versus a grade 2 Vanguard, you already put them in a very dangerous position in terms of aggro. It's basically Shojodoji, but for free.
Yep, because both the grade 1 and the grade 2 call themselves out from the soul, you just have 2 free units right there while you're riding up. So this is a very high aggro ride line, and the goal of this deck is to rush your opponent down.
Alright, so let's cover through the deck choices we've made, talk about other stuff, and then compare it to Shojodoji.
Sure, no problem.
So our grade 3s, we play 4 copies of Lulu Zulu. I mean, I just described to you why this grade 3 is so good. And then we play 3 copies of another Mythiarq. This is
Mythiarq El Piero.
alright. What does it do?
Okay, so its effect is on place. If you have 3 or more units with Mythiarq in their card name, it gains plus 5k until end of turn. Then you can CV1 to draw 1.
So it's another half away.
Yes, but on a grade 3 body.
It's Vibatsuka the Overflyer.
Though you do have to fulfill the condition of having 3 or more Mythiarq units. So your Vanguard will be 1 unit.
1 unit. Itself.
The cards you call from Soul can be 1 unit, and itself is 1 unit. So
wonderful. So you will most of the time always hit it. Because your whole deck is just Mythiarq.
yes.
Alright, that's pretty good. We'll cover the grade 2s. The grade 2s, we play 1 copy of the Manta from just now.
We play just the 1 copy, yes.
Yeah, just 1 copy. Last time we used to play more. Then we play 4 copies of this is
Margaret.
Margaret is a old friend from our Cristianos deck profile. So for those of you who love Cristianos, comment below Cristiano's best deck. I will listen to you. 4 copies of our brand new Mythiarq. This is
Mythiarq Mythiarq.
Touch it. And then after that we play 4 copies of our tournament promo. This is
Mythiarq Guardian Delphina.
I mean, it's so strange that they are all just water animals and you have a whole ass woman in the deck. It's kind of okay. And then a giraffe.
Mythiarq Mew Mililin.
Mew Mililin.
Yes.
Mew Mililin. Okay. Alright, so we've covered the grade 2 already, so not much to talk about there. I'll talk about Margaret because I love Cristianos to death. It is your typical Soul Blast 1 cycler, so when discarded for the cost of your ride, you just Soul Blast 1, tuck this to the bottom of the deck and draw a card. So it enables you to cycle through pretty well for your soul. Now, the problem is that you call your Mythiarqs from your soul, correct? You call the grade 1 and the grade 2.
Yes.
So while this seems counterintuitive, you still have a lot of soul charge in this deck. From the grade 2, you get a soul charge as well in terms of this guy, because
He just stays in soul.
He just stays in soul. He's a small fella. You can just blast him out. And to top it off, because there is a second effect, is when placed on the rearguard circle, if you Persona Ride this turn, count blast 1, you can choose your opponent's front row, right? And it cannot stand.
Yes, your opponent's front row cannot stand or intercept.
So you Giga Paralyze 2 for 1 counter blast.
That's right. And because of Mythiarq Lulu Zulu's effect, you might be able to even hit it from top 7.
Yeah, so you can just top 7 call it, right? Because it doesn't specify Mythiarq.
Yeah, only the second effect of multi-attack requires Mythiarq. The first effect you can just call
Wait, so
anything.
you can just target Margaret, put it back to the hand and call Mythiarq?
No.
Oh, you cannot.
You have to target the Mythiarq
Mythiarq.
name and add it back to hand.
Oh, but that's fine, because the whole deck is Mythiarq besides this one girl. So, again, this one is more of a tech pick. I understand this one's a bit more expensive of a card, so people may not even want to run it. I think it's fair, but with how strong the hand rip and aggro is, I think Giga Paralyze and extra draw is appreciated. But again, you don't need to play this. We are playing this in the slot of the titular and very, very sought after promo card that Mythiarq actually got quite a fair bit ago. It is Mythiarq Habitat. That is the 1-to-1 slot we're playing it for. Mythiarq Habitat, for the unaware, basically it scans the top 7 cards for a card and call it to rearguard circle of the same grade or less. Or you can even choose Mythiarq Habitat as a unique card and call it to the rearguard circle. So again, it is pretty damn good to have a top 7 searcher by itself that can scan the whole deck, and it can even scan itself if you're low on targets. It also has a Mythiarq name, so I guess if that means anything to you. I think either option you pick for this deck is fine. There's clearly one in archetype that may be considered better, but both of them are equally expensive, if not one is clearly more expensive. So I think you just have to pick your poison in terms of what you want. If you prefer more stun strategies, I think this is the play. If you like the idea of just digging through your deck as fast as possible, I think this is an option as well.
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to cover Mythiarq Habitat because I know someone will call me out and say, why isn't it in the list? We thought about it. Okay, I wouldn't present the deck I've not thought about. Then we of course we have 4 copies of this girl. She's basically just a multi-attacker.
No, she's more than that. Okay, so she has 2 effects. The first is the multi-attack effect, which is very important. Once per turn at the end of the battle, that your Vanguard with Mythiarq in its card name attack the grade 3 or greater unit, Soul Blast 1, stand this unit, and it gets plus 10k until end of turn. Welcome back, Seiki.
Furai?
That's right.
Oh my god.
Playing Nubatama even when Nubatama's not a thing.
I hate you.
Next, Auto, at the end of your turn, if you have 3 or more units with Mythiarq in their card name, retire this unit, choose a card from your drop zone with Mythiarq in its different card name from this card and put it into your hand.
Wait, so you can just scan any Mythiarq target?
Yes,
including
even
your persona, right? Mythiarq habitat, anything.
Yes.
That is horrific.
Yes. It just says choose a card with Mythiarq. That's not herself.
Oh, come on! That's so good. This one.
Okay, so Mythiarq New Mililin. This is one of the Mythiarq card that came with the original wave of support. Its first effect is when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you have 3 or more units with Mythiarq in your card name, this unit gets plus 5k until end of turn. Then, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rearguards, and that unit cannot stand during your opponent's next stand phase. This is another stun.
Why does this deck get so much stun with the aggro so high?
You hand rip. You stun their rear.
Them. You swing at them for like 3 columns from turn 2 onwards.
That's right.
What? How's this fair?
And his second effect is a real kicker. It acts once per turn. Okay. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Mythiarq in its card name, bind a rearguard with Mythiarq in its different card name from this unit, and call the bound card for this cost to rearguard circle. So basically, you bind a Mythiarq rearguard and call it back, which allows you to reuse their on-place effects.
That's so good. You get a replay of every card now.
That's right. Once per turn.
Free?
For free.
Oh my god.
You just have to sit on Lulu Zulu.
Now. The real kicker and why I agreed to this video at long last is this one.
Mythiarq
is Mythiarq Mythiarq. I have no idea what a churd is. Let me know in the comment section if you know what a churd is.
We used to call him Mythiarq Mythiarq, but you know.
Who's we?
The online community of Mythiarq heads.
There is an online community of Mythiarq heads.
Yeah.
I know there's like an Celestial subcord, but you're telling me now there's a Mythiarq community?
That's right.
I need to go for therapy. So this guy is basically Isazao. You know Isazao? But 50 times better. Let me tell you why. When placed on a Vanguard circle, if you have Vanguard of Mythiarq in its card name, no issue. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Mythiarq in its different card name from this unit, and among them, reveal it, put it to the hand, and shuffle the deck. If you reveal a card, choose a card from your hand and put it in the soul. Now, if this guy seems peculiarly similar to, Kashin and, Mr. Eliquinis, you would be right, but those guys are failures because they only have 2 targets in the whole deck. The boss monster and Dispel. And if you play the vanilla, boss monster as a side, so basically you have 3 targets out of, 12 to 13 units on average. This guy checks the entire archetype. Every Mythiarq, you just on place, top 5, anything, add it to your hand, done. Right? You chuck a card to hand to soul, so it's not a +1, it's a net 0. But the fact that you can scan and add cards to the soul is insane. This is the other reason why I'm very comfortable in playing Margaret. Because our soul is so abundant that we can spare the soul to just soul blast, right? It's just that easy.
Yes.
And when you thought this stuff couldn't get any worse, there's a second skill. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Mythiarq in its card name, this unit just gets 10,000 shield. This very deceptive skill is part of the intricate line that Nami has previously described. You call this guy, you top 5, add anyone to your hand with the Vanguard, attack, put this back in the hand, call anybody from your hand with a different name, and you now have a 15k shield for free in your hand. For free. That's it. It's a 15k shield. Do you understand that Nightrose literally has to sell 2 organs to get a dude who is the exact same size to defend her? Like, I'm gonna run out of words. I'm gonna die mid this video. Like, do you guys remember marauding shit? Like, that dude is also a 15k shield, right? But he needs 10 cards in the drop zone, which means you have to, actively mill your deck. You have to, put in some hard work. This guy does it for free. As long as your Vanguard is just grade 3 Mythiarq, you get it. I hate
Also,
this
by the
deck,
way,
man.
remember Delphina?
Yeah? What about her?
She can add any Mythiarq unit. Therefore, if you for some reason actually use this card to guard with,
You can just loop it back
you can just loop it back.
and then call it.
That's right.
And top 5 scan.
Yeah, but you add any card that's not itself. But
But that's not a problem.
that is not.
That's not a problem. Like, would you actually do Isazao search Isazao? I don't know. Okay, so moving on to the grade 1s. Our grade 1s are again very simple, very intuitive. We cover from the right deck 1 copy of the Platypus, but this time we have additional 2 more.
Mythiarq, Ilondrina.
I mentioned before that, you know, he's basically Spike Dragon, and that's usually the reason why we just play multiple copies, because he's a great booster and a guy that can really pile on the assault for free. We play 4 Perfect Guards. We are playing the unit Perfect Guards because we can bounce them back to the hand. Right?
No, you cannot.
Oh, you can?
You can't.
Oh, we're playing this because we're poor. And then we have 4 copies of the Rabbit. This is basically just your counter charger. I'm not going to explain much into it. It's just a counter charger. It's once per turn. Then we have 4 copies of this little cutie. This is Lizmi, if I'm not mistaken. Rizumi. They changed the name? Okay. So,
Alright,
tell us
so
what it does.
its first effect is auto in the drop zone.
It
Right.
has a drop zone skill.
Yes, it has a drop zone skill.
So Nightrose doesn't get a dude that triggers from the drop zone, but you guys do.
That's right.
Oh my god.
When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Mythiarq in its card name is placed during your right phase, perform one of the following. If you have no units with the same card name as this card, you may call it to rearguard circle. Or, if you have a unit with the same name as this card, you can Soul Blast 1, put this card to the bottom of the deck, and draw 1. So not only do you have Margaret, you also have Rizmi.
So you guys have 8 copies of a Cycler.
Yes, except this time, this Cycler works for the rest of the game.
And you can also search it in Archetype with Isazao.
That's right.
Oh my god.
From turn 2, so if for some reason he's not in your hand by turn 2, you just call out Mythiarq, check the top 5, add this to hand, guard with him, and you have him ready and set for the following turn. And also, this guy really does allow you to have to only have 1 unit remaining on your board before going to your grade 3 turn, and you can still proc Mythiarq's discard effect. Because you go, you ride into your grade 3, you call this from the drop zone, you call the grade 2 from the soul, and you have 1 other unit, top 5, you call 1, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your opponent now discards 1. Congratulations.
And he's grade 2.
Who?
Your opponent. He's
Yes.
grade 2.
Yes, your opponent's grade 2.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And its other effect is the main place where you want to be calling this unit. The continuous in the back row center rearguard circle. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your front row units with Mythiarq in their card name gain plus 5k.
So not only does he have a go first application, he turns the entire Mythiarq decks and grow higher go second.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. I'm out of words
and
already,
if for some
man.
reason he is retired,
He just
comes
triggers
back
again from the
next
drop
turn.
zone next turn. Okay, grade 0s, this is pretty fast. But it's a bit interesting. 3 effect draws, 4 effect fronts. It's basically Rainbow, as well as the Rainbow over trigger itself for Stoicheia, which is the over trigger. Very simple. We need draw, we need aggression, we need crits, we need the shield value. Just play Rainbow. I know some people will say, but why not you just play it crit? Do you see how strong the front row building is? You might as well take advantage of everything.
The power sometimes is a bit low if your board is a bit iffy, because if you run into
Yeah.
control, it can be a bit tough.
It can be a bit tough.
Which is why the front is very appreciated.
So, tell us, why do you think this deck is the next Shojodoji?
Okay, you are starting the game from your second turn onwards. Sure, your turn 1 might be a bit weak, but from turn 2 onwards, you are just rushing and rushing and rushing. And by your hopefully by your first grade 3 turn, your opponent has already been pushed to 5 damage and their resources are pushed to the limit. Because not only are you hand ripping them, you are rushing them with decent amounts of power, because
All magic numbers.
all magic numbers. Because now both Ildonia and Risi, both of them give the front row a lot of power, and Daphne is your 5th attack enabler. So now you are just rushing your opponent down if you are going second. If you are going first, you are draining all of their resources before they get to go to their grade 3 turn. Sometimes if their hand is full of bricks, you just win on the spot.
And the fun part is this deck cannot be denied at all. Like, there is not much of a counterplay. You don't pay counterblast at all for Issa Zhao. You have a few cards that say CB1, draw one, but you can just not use them. And a lot of your call skills are virtually free.
Like, and if for some reason the game does drag, you do have a counter charger in the deck.
You do have a Bubble Mine-ish clone at a good healthy number, which is 4. So really, are you really struggling out of resources? I think the only problem with Mythiarq is that it's very good aggressively, but in a grind game, maybe not so much. Like if it somehow gets stalled out, which I also doubt.
Now with the new grade 2 Mythiarq, having a bit more shield is very appreciated. So you can at least last your opponent's turn 4 if you're going second. So it's not as bad.
It's not as bad before,
as before. Especially now that Daphne can just add the Mythiarq copies you use to guard back to your hand, or additional persona. Okay, so the main two targets for Delphina is Mythiarq herself, Lulzulu herself, and Mythiarq. Other than that, you're not really adding much, and Mythiarq really does filter your deck very fast.
Very much.
Because not only are you using its first on-place effect, you return it to hand, you can use it again in the next turn.
You can also just replay it.
Yes, because of the bind effect, you just bind it, call it back, you...
Top 5 again.
Top 5 again.
So, honestly, judging for a deck that's made of mostly 200 yen cards each, I would say this deck is heavily slept on. And it has aggression like none other. The only problem is, if you fight a deck like Rezael, if you can't outrush him, you will lose. But other than that, I would say most people are just not prepared. This deck is like Shojodoji in terms of the aggression, the ripping, the disruption, the stunning. It is virtually a nightmare, and I don't understand why no one's talking about it. So I'm hoping through this video that more attention is brought to light. Mythiarq is honestly one of the worst decks in terms of representation, because most people just don't read Youthquake outside of Japan. And yeah, that really sucks, because this deck is really deceitfully strong. Like, you look at that like Nightrose, you go, wow, hot Asian vampire princess, and she does nothing for 4 turns. But this is a nightmare, man. This is a nightmare. And we haven't even talked about all the support. We still have 2 others.
Okay, there's a reason we don't play them. One is Mythiarq Merilish, a grade 2 that was part of the legacy support together with the Rizzler.
Do you say the Rizzler?
Yes, the Rizzler. Anyway, the internet brain rot is getting to me, man. Merilish, its effect is when placed on Dragon Circle by the ability of your card with Mythiarq in its card name. If you have a Vanguard with Mythiarq, you can counterblast 1 and draw a card until end of turn, when your opponent will call cards from their hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 2 more. So it's a battle door, but it's restricted behind the fact that you have to call it by a card effect.
It's more of a win more card.
It's a win more.
It's a win more card.
It's a win more card, and it's another card that uses counterblast, which you would rather not have in a deck where you want to rush as fast as possible.
But you could consider it as a tag option.
It's a small consideration. The other card is also part of the legacy support. Mythiarq Porcuhile.
Yep.
Its effect is continuous when you would count the number of units for the ability of your unit with Mythiarq in its card name. This unit is counted as 2 units.
So mainly is for Luruzulu, who counts for 5 Mythiarq units.
Yes.
This counts as 2. You don't need that much anymore because the board building is so easy.
Yeah.
But you could just play this if you
And
want.
its other effect is when this unit attacks, if you have 5 or more units with Mythiarq in its card name, this unit gets plus 10k until the end of their battle.
It's really good, but the problem is that it's a grade 3, so it's a bit too slow.
One is a bit slow. 2, even though your deck has so much search and so much superior calling, this card really doesn't make the cut.
Yeah, it doesn't make the cut.
Especially now that you can basically just search your entire deck.
Top 5, maybe.
Maybe if you're having difficulty procuring copies of Delphina, it's a good alternative.
It's a good option, but Delphina is pretty good in the deck, so I would say please look for it. If anything, if you can't afford Margaret, I would say look into Mythiarq Habitat, look into one of these 2, and I would say you're pretty fixed. Would you agree?
Yes.
So, okay, that will end it off on the note then. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this kind of video, because, it does take us quite a while to research, especially when, these decks aren't really talked about much.
Also, don't forget to EB7 to draw 1.
Oh, yeah, because we don't have any energy user yet, so yeah, don't forget that. But other than that, yeah, that's really about all we can say. I do want to try and cover at least one more deck from DZ BTO6. I know I'm squeezing this set dry, especially for my Japanese audience, but I'm trying my best, especially because now I'm working again, so I don't have that much free time. That being said though, I am looking forward to covering DZ BTO7. There are quite a few decks I want to talk about, but we'll see based on time. Again, if you like these kind of videos, liking it, watching it, subscribing, it just really helps. And if you want to put some extra coins in my pocket so I can afford more copies of Mythiarq Habitat, channel membership. But don't worry, I already have a playset. I just didn't put it in this deck because I didn't feel it was worth it. Again, if you can't afford Margaret, then swap back to Mythiarq Habitat. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See you guys next time.
Nothing else you want to say?
No.
Okay. Thank you.